questions to the program's host. We thank you for making WGNU 920 AM part of your day.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to the Power for Living radio show. I am your host, the Empowerment Dr. Toriel Anthony. I'm both excited and delighted to have you tune in today as we welcome our guest, Arthur Levita Bell, who is hosting the third annual Women of Evolution and Destiny Empowerment Conference 2013 on July 27th, 2013 at 10 a.m. at Regional Arts Commission located on Delmore. We'd like to welcome our guest this evening, Arthur Levita Bell. Welcome to the Power for Living radio show.
Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you here with us. You all may remember Levita. She was on, I believe, our second or third show, somewhere around in there, where she did some poetry for us, and we're excited to have her here today talking about something that she's doing in the community, something that I believe will be very beneficial to a lot of our women here in St. Louis and even in the surrounding area. So we're going to let her tell us what this conference is all about and what it perhaps can help you with. Levita?
Okay, this conference is mostly about empowering women of all different walks of life, religions, backgrounds, who've dealt with various types of abuse, from sexual abuse, domestic violence, verbal abuse, childhood abuse, adult abuse, any type of abuse. And what this does is just let other women know that other women have been there before. You don't have to walk this walk alone. And on this particular day, my goal is to have women to let go of the shackles that have bound them for so many years, that they are not what their past say they are.
Generally, when someone put together or compose a conference of this nature, they have experienced something that this conference is having. So we're going to go a little off of the conference because I want to hear the background. I want to hear what prompted you, what made you want to do a conference of this nature. Why do you feel it's your task, it's your mission? Why is it your aim to have such a conference?
I was sexually abused for 7 years, and I dealt with so much after the encounter, and it took me so many years to get past the initial problem. After getting over the court issue, then there became the journey of getting over it. I was extremely angry, I was extremely volatile, and I didn't like anybody, and basically I didn't even like myself. So it took me all the way up to January 1st, 2010 to really let it all go and begin to walk into the things that God called me to be, instead of being this angry person for no reason, because no one else did it. It was just me holding on to it as my own comfort.
Okay, you said two things that I want to touch on. You said the initial problem, and then you said holding on to it as your own comfort. Let's address the problem portion of it. Then I want to come to the comfort portion.
Okay.
Okay. When you say problem, what do you mean? The problem that the abuse caused, or the abuse being a problem in itself?
It's both.
Okay, explain, please.
It's both. Abuse for a child is very traumatic, mentally, physically, emotionally. It can tear a child down.
So you were a child when this happened?
I was 4 when it started.
Oh, okay. Wow. I imagine at the age of 4, you wasn't even aware that it was abuse, that you probably thought that it was the right thing, or you didn't know that it was something that was harmful to you. So when did it click? Do you remember the age that it clicked?
That night, I knew that something was wrong. When he put his finger up to his mouth and was like, shh, I knew that something wasn't right when my hands went down his pants. I knew that something wasn't right. I felt that it wasn't right. And the more it continued, I knew that that wasn't normal.
So for the next 7 years after that, you continue to go through this type of abuse with the same person or with multiple people?
With the same person.
So how did it stay sheltered? How did it stay covered up? And I'm asking these questions because we're talking about your conference, but there are some people that, believe it or not, is still keeping it covered and keeping it sheltered. And it's been 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
what was the breaking point that you said, I can't hold it any longer?
I kept it secret for so long because it was a threat of, I'll kill your mother, I'll kill your sister, and I'll kill your grandmother. Well, of course, I was petrified. I believed it. So I didn't say a word. I never told it because he was going to kill my family. And I didn't want that to happen. But after, he started kind of beating on my sister, and I would protect her. And it just got to a point where it was like, okay, if you're going to kill my family, go ahead and kill him because I'm telling.
And the funny thing about that is, what I've come to know, and I don't have any statistics or any facts or anything like that, but I do know most child pedophiles are not killers.
No.
Most child pedophiles are not killers. I'm sure that there are a few that's both killers and child pedophiles, but most child pedophiles are not killers. They're only pedophiles. We're going to open up the phone lines also so that you'll be able to call in and ask Levita questions or ask me the Empowerment Doctor questions that you may have. 314-880-0808. Again, that's 314-880-0808. Okay. Most child pedophiles are not killers. So the day that you said, I'm telling, kill my family, what did you feel like that was your escape?
I did. And then I was afraid after that because I didn't know what was going to happen. If people would believe me because he was a minister. So I wasn't sure if the church would be angry with me or if people would stand behind me. So I just wanted it to be over. Really, I just really didn't care. I just wanted it to be over.
And so then you said that it was your own comfort.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? How did your pain become your comfort?
Because it was comfortable for me to just be angry because it was my space for no one to hurt me. So if you tried to get close to me, I just didn't want to, so I would just be extremely mean because I didn't want anyone to get close enough to me to be able to hurt me especially the way he did. And I was just afraid of everyone, and I didn't trust anyone. So with that, I just held on to it. That was my excuse for my behavior.
Okay, so what he did led to your comfort. That's funny. What he did led to your comfort, but your comfort was really that of shining other people out to allow the real love that you needed to experience to come in. So
and I also looked for love in the wrong places. The funny thing about this is once you've been sexually abused, promiscuity comes right in. So I became like this sex vixen looking for love in the wrong way, but shunning people out who wanted to show me love.
Wow. So you became a sex vixen, but shining people out who really wanted to love on you. Mm-hmm. But you gave, and I'm not trying to paraphrase or make it sound different than what you're saying, but you begin to give of yourself.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yes.
So that you could feel the love that others was trying to give you, and in all actuality, you wasn't getting the love.
No.
And it's funny you say that because I'm actually working on a message right now that's entitled "Covering My Hurt by the Look of Love." and the thing
awesome.
is that I come to realize, even in my life, I haven't experienced quite what you've experienced, but I come to realize that a lot of times we're walking around hurt and covering it up by a look, a facade of love. If you ever go to Hollywood, California, or you go to Universal Studios or anything like that, you can ride through where they do the different shows, and they have facades of all the stuff that we look at on TV and think that you're really in certain places. They have the facades there because that's all that you're really seeing. And in all actuality, in life, a lot of us is walking around with the facade of love.
And my facade was I was a bad girl. I was a bad girl. Don't step to me wrong. Don't speak to me wrong. Don't do anything out the way wrong to me, or else I was coming for you.
In all actuality, that was not who you were, but you made yourself to be that.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. So what brought you to this place to want to do this conference after you've gone through that? You've said you've experienced being the basically, I guess, not a video vixen. Was it a church vixen or a high school vixen or just anybody vixen?
It was anybody.
Wow. So you did all of that to get here.
To get right here.
The Bible declares that all things work together for the good of them.
That's right.
Do you believe that you went through that to keep somebody else from having to experience or go through the hurt, the hell, the torment that you went through for those 7 years?
I do believe that, and if I had to do it again for somebody else, I'd do it again.
Wow. That's something big to say. That's something big to say. So let's talk about the conference. Let's talk about what the conference is going to offer, because I'm assuming with the things that you went through, you offer things that help for a hurting heart, heal for a hurting heart. So let's talk about that. What type of healing classes or speakers will you have there that's going to talk about the healing process for the hurting?
Okay. This is our first year, like, stepping outside of the norm. And besides just touching on what abuse is and how it affects us as women, we've just decided to touch bases on all aspects of womanhood. We have a class based on financial wealth and budgeting, where a financial broker will cover. We also have women's health that's covered by a woman who is a survivor of breast cancer. And we have Dress for Success with a lady who's a corporate manager over at Edward Jones.
Okay. So you have finance, Dress for Success, and health. Let's talk about the finance issue of it. See, because I understand that after you've gone through abuse, after you have experienced some of the things that you experience, you in your mind become nothing more than a booty call.
That's right.
You feel like that's all that you're worthy of to pay your bill, to pay your light bill, to pay your car bill, to buy your baby a pair of shoes, to pay your rent, all of those things. But it's only because you haven't been taught properly how to handle money.
That is true. And not only those things that you listed, and it's also empowering self in the wrong manner, because you see this person is coming after you for the wrong reasons, and they're glorifying you for the wrong reasons. So it's like it's building yourself up in the wrong way.
Okay.
You are listening to a rebroadcast of a program that has previously aired as a part of WGNU's St. Louis Urban Forum. Our listener response lines are currently closed. Please consult www.wgnu920am.com for our complete schedule of programs. Make sure to tune in, call in, and be a part of the radio station that is working to improve our great city. We thank you for tuning in to WGNU's St. Louis Urban Forum on 920 AM.
And then you said that you're going to have health. That's another issue that women deal with. First off, if you experience these things, you tend to not want to seek help. You tend not to want to go to the doctor, because you still, anytime someone gets raped or abused, whether it's mentally or physically, they don't want people to see their hurt. They don't want people to see their scars. So that's when we experience that. Some people will walk around, and what could have just been breast cancer at one point could end up having cancer because it didn't spread it to other places, because they dealt with something of this nature and didn't want to go to the doctor to get help, because they didn't want the doctor to see where it looked like they had been beat up.
Right.
where it looked like somebody had took a knife and tried to kill them. So I appreciate everything that you're doing at this conference, because it's more like it's coming in the back door to still help.
That's right.
And so after that you deal with the, I really love the setup. After you deal with the health, then you have Dress for Success. A lot of times, after people go through things of this nature, they tend to go towards the darker colors. They tend to go towards wearing the long skirts and wearing pants and, really covering themselves up and not looking ladylike.
That's correct.
Not looking like they want to put on a facade of being real hard, like you said. They want to become this hard person, or they want to become and a lot of times that's why ladies end up being real rough and tough, because they've been hurt so much.
That's right.
They've been hurt so much. So I love the way that you're doing this. So what are you looking to see the ladies leave with, or how are you looking to see them leave once they come to the conference?
Once they arrive there, I'm just expecting for them to leave with a new self-perception of who they are, not who someone else said they are. I'm looking for them to have new goals, new aspirations, new dreams. I'm looking for them to start believing again, start seeing their own self-worth. Because a lot of times men or same-sex partners have devalued us. And that's my goal, is to help some of the women there who need a reminder of their value and their worth.
Stop right there. A lot of people didn't hear something that you just said, but I'm paying close attention and I pick up on everything that you said. You said that men are same-sex partners. So are you insinuating that hurt and abuse and misuse is not only coming from the opposite sex?
It comes from the same sex as well. Physically, emotionally, and verbal.
Wow. Wow. Because my mindset is that a lot of women turn to the same sex because of what the opposite sex have done. But now you're telling me that some women have turned, but in their turning, they turned around and got hurt the same way they got hurt before.
Definitely.
So
I've
that's
heard a lot
double.
of women talk about that.
So that's a double whammy.
Yeah.
So I guess I want to ask, at the conference, is there going to be someone there, some type of spiritual, that's going to help with the hurt?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. It's not a religious conference, but however, I've seen this year after year where some woman has that release, that breakdown, that breaking point, that deliverance, where someone who God has appointed them is capable and able to help them with that release. So yes, we have a therapist on our panel of experts. We have a pastor, and we have another woman who've also dealt with sexual abuse. So yes, I'm covered. I make sure that every woman that walks through the door is covered. When they're ready for that release, they're covered.
Wow. Okay. Tell us, give us a little bit more information about the conference, how they can attend the conference. Is there a registration fee? The actual times, how the breakdown is. Can you give us a rundown of all of that?
Yeah, sure. They can go to www.lavitabell.com. That's LAVITA bell.com. The registration fee is only $10. And if you don't have it at that present moment to register online, you can also pay at the door, which is still $10. The breakdown is that we start the meet and greet at 10 a.m. and we're starting with India Arie's song Beautiful Flower. And the program will go on from there. We'll have the workshops, which is 1 hour. So each woman who wants to go to that particular session will go for that 1 hour, and we'll come back and we'll continue with the session with Q&As. And they don't have to raise their hand. We do have index cards because some people really don't want. I've just noticed that some women don't want to ask questions because they're afraid to just like raise their hands. And I've had people come to me afterwards saying, I wanted to know this question. So I have index cards this year for women to write down their questions, and our panel of experts will answer them.
Okay.
And we're going to close out with a prayer.
Okay. Listen, I want to sponsor 2 ladies to be able to go to this conference. You can inbox me on Facebook on my personal page, not on Powerful Living, and that is at Tori, the Empowerment Dr. Anthony on Facebook. You can inbox me that you would like to attend this conference, and I will sponsor you to go. I will also be at this conference, not involved in the sessions, but I will be a vendor at the conference this year, so I look forward to meeting you there. Levita, will you be speaking on anything at the conference, or will you just be more like a back-end person?
No,
or
I will be speaking.
You
Yes.
will be speaking. You will be speaking. Can you tell us, are you working on anything currently?
I'm working on my second book, Revelations of the Soul. And that is basically the tools to provide women with the how-tos, how to deal with depression, how to get over it, how to deal with low self-esteem, how to deal with promiscuity, how to deal with family issues, how to deal with generational curses. And so that's what this particular book is all about. It's just the how-tos after dealing with any type of abuse. How do I get over it? How do I change? How do I have a new circle? How do I get over, family hurts? How do I? And the answers are in this book, backed up with scriptures.
Can you give me one example of how to New Circle? Let's talk about New Circle.
New
because
Circle.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
not just women. That's a lot of our people's problem. They don't know how to let go to become.
Yeah. For myself, I really do know how to talk about how to change your circle of people, because my old circle of people encouraged my behavior. They encourage my behavior. They like to see me act up. They like to see me fight. They just like for me to walk up to people and start cussing and fussing and pointing fingers and rolling my neck. People enjoy my friends, quote unquote friends, enjoyed that. And so when I came to my senses and realized that's not right, that's not who God called me to be, it was time to let them go. And it's a lonely place, and it's hard when it's time to change. It's uncomfortable, and it seems unreal. But however, those same people who you were pushing away before, they're still there just waiting on you, so that when they see that you're ready to embrace them, they'll embrace you right back and become your personal cheerleaders. And I know that for a fact, because I still have my own personal cheerleaders who was there then and are still with me now.
It's funny that you say that, because in my book, there's a portion that I talk about when I tell my story that at one time I didn't fit in because of the crowd that I was hanging with. I didn't fit in, and I simulated to the fact that during that time I didn't fit in because the title of my book is I Huge. Well, at the time I didn't fit in, and I talk about the fact that I could not go into a normal store and shop. I had to always go to the specialty shops to get my clothes and things. And it's such an awesome feeling to be able to go into the store and purchase clothes out of a normal store now, knowing that I can actually go there and I actually fit in. Now, the title of the book is I Huge, having unexpected gifts every day. But now I fit in, but I don't fit in with them any longer. If you understand what I'm saying. When God does a transformation, sometimes you have to understand that you're trying to fit yourself in a piece of the puzzle that was not made for you to fit. You know how you're looking at a puzzle and you have this piece and you keep trying to fit it in, and then come to find out it goes with a total different puzzle.
Yeah.
That's where I found myself in life. I was trying to fit into a puzzle that was never created for me to fit in. And because it was not created for me to fit in, regardless to how I turned it and how I tried to say it looked like it connected to that piece, it either didn't go down comfortably, it didn't come up comfortably. And that's the same way I found myself in the store. The clothes didn't look right. They didn't fit right. I never was one that could wear rayon because it didn't look right on my body type. Now, today, I still don't like rayon. I still don't try to put it on. But even with me being able to go to to the regular store and shop now, there's still some things that I can't fit in, and it still don't look right, because you have to understand everything is not for everybody.
That's right.
And you have to understand that every group, every setting is not for everybody. You can't run with everybody and do what God has called you to do. You can't walk with everybody and say you're walking for the Lord, because guess what? Everybody is not walking for the Lord, and you tend to become what you hang around. So yes, at one point I was a loud, bombastic person. I was going to church because I ran with church people. But I went to church and I wasn't realized I was looking a huge mess. Wow. And it wasn't kingdom. It wasn't kingdom. You too, you was in the church.
Yeah.
And here you sitting saying I had this attitude, I had this, but it was in the church.
I think you witnessed some of those attitudes before too.
Yeah, it was in the church.
Yeah.
But when God gets ready to change you and make you see, and what I like about God is he'll allow you to stay outside of the puzzle for so long. And then he say, I got to rip it up. And he'll do something and we don't even understand. Well, why they stop calling me? Why every time I call I can't get through? Why they never email me no more? Why they never text me no more? Why they don't respond?
You know, Pastor Petty said something this morning. He said it's in the crushing where the goodness comes forth.
It's not
in
until,
your pain.
It's not until.
Where the goodness comes forth.
It's not until.
Yeah.
It's not until you've had to have some lonely days that you'll understand the walk that's really called for you. See, because I've experienced some lonely days. I've experienced feeling like I didn't have no... I've experienced that. But because I've experienced that, I understand that everybody can't become huge with me.
That's right. That's true.
See, let me help you understand something. You have to understand that when I was shopping at the specialty stores, none of my friends didn't want to go shopping with me because there wasn't nothing there for them. Now that it's turned around and God has made me huge on another level, I can't expect some of them same people to go with me because there's nothing there for them, because they still trying to stay in the same, they still trying to go in the same stores that I couldn't go in then, and I didn't understand why, because God didn't want me there.
That's right.
God didn't want me there. And Levita, baby, you got to understand that there are some people that'll never understand what you went through. There are some people that'll never understand why you couldn't let them in. It wasn't meant for them to come in, because if they'd have came in, they'd have hurt you even the more.
Yeah.
So some people God left on the outside for a reason. Some people God wanted you to get close to, but you chose to keep them on the outside. But guess what? When God get ready to open up the door to your new mall, listen to what I'm saying. When God get ready to open up the door to your new mall, there's nothing that you or any devil in hell can do to keep the door shut. Understand what I'm saying? See, because not only will God open up a store, but he'll cause a mall to be opened up in your name so that you can experience everything that God has for you. I don't want you to leave this place trying to figure out how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, or how it's going to come. God said that it's going to come to pass, and you're going to sit back and try to figure out how it happened, because everybody don't understand your blueprint. Everybody don't understand what God is doing. But God is about to blow you up and do something huge in your life, because of the 7 years that meant completion, and you completed that course, and now God is about to cause something new to happen. Thank you for tuning in to the Powerful Living Radio Show. Expect the great, expect the big, expect God to do something huge in your life. He's turning it around for somebody on this week. Look out, world, because God is doing something new in his people's life. Guess what? You're one of God's people. Expect the great on this week. God bless you. God keep you, and may his face forever shine up on you. Until this time next week, God bless.